Welcome to Prime Joe Time with Stoneburgh. I'm your host, Joey Stoneburgh. On this show, I sit down with someone who builds, competes, or creates. We talk about what actually happened, what it cost, and what they do again. This lives under the spare bedroom studios, but it's my own lane. My voice, my call. Episodes drop weekly. If it sounds like something is in your lane, follow the show. Send it to one friend who actually listens. I'm Joey. This is Prime Joe Time. Let's start. Welcome. I'm Joe Stoneburgh, host of Prime Joe Time. I just want to give you guys a little background story to start off the first episode. So, I grew up in a town, Huntsville, Ontario. Beautiful place. I suggest if you ever get the opportunity, you're in Ontario, you should go there and check it out. So growing up in Huntsville, there was lots of fun stuff to do. It was beautiful. I was like, the bush is wonderful. And then, but also through my high school years came some challenges, lots of drug addiction and drinking and partying. Lots of kids, haven't made it out, unfortunately. And I guess I was one of the lucky ones. I had lots of good support through family, friends, lots of people cared about me. Moving forward from that, I started working like most people do. I was a stonemason, and man, I'm going to tell you guys, working outside -30, not fun. Hitting a rock with a hammer, like, really made me realize like I need to make some life choices here. So while I was sitting outside, I saw some OPP snowmobiles zoom by, and I was like, wow, could you imagine getting paid to do that? That would be super exciting. So what I did is I enrolled in the Police Foundations program. At that point, I was a heavy pot smoker and party goer. I decided moving forward, if I want to get a line of work, I cold turkey quit, stop. Going on, I went to college in North Bay, Ontario, another northern Ontario town. It was a wonderful place, very good program at Canada College. I would recommend that school to anyone. I went to college for 2 years, completed that. I met a girlfriend there. Life seemed to be perfect. Like it was actually like I thought was going to be like the peak of my life, but how wrong I was. From that point on, I was really into the bodybuilding scene for most of my high school. In Huntsville is where it began, at Motivations Fitness. Cool little gym. I got introduced to anabolics while I was in college. I think I replaced one thing for another. Got heavily into the anabolic use. And then I was talking to my grandfather one day, and he lived in Edmonton, Alberta, which brings me to where I am today in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. There was a posting for career path similar to what I was looking to get into policing, which is corrections. I kind of like looked at it. I was like, yeah, I'm never going to get hired in a corrections setting. I was 20 years old. Like, this is unheard of. You do not get a job doing that at that age, especially in Ontario. It was completely unheard of without like at least a university degree or some kind of experience. So I said, hell, I'm going to apply. I logged in, I applied, and my girlfriend did at the time too. And within like a week, I got like a message back. I'm like, yeah, this has got to be fake. Like, you're going to be having a phone interview. Yeah, haha. Like, someone's joshing me here. Like, this can't be for real. So I spent the summer landscaping with my stepdad. He has a very successful landscaping company. He's a pretty nice guy. He gave me a job, but like making minimum wage back then wasn't really the greatest thing. And I'm like, I can't get out of this town fast enough. I don't want to be picking things up and putting them down, like these heavy rocks, and smashing and being crippled, like breathing in rock dust. I was like, man, some people, I'm saying, this sucks for me. Like, this is terrible. So anyway, I end up getting this interview. I did really well in this interview. My mom kind of sat on the sideline while they coached me around, giving me a little bit of like nods. She's like, yeah, say that. I like call your supervisor, blah, blah, blah. So at the end of the interview, I like to like kind of joke around. I was like, hey, tell the warden to to clear the office out because I'm coming. Like, I'm taking over. This is going to be Joe's show. Like, I'm going to be running that place. So anyway, they all chuckle and laugh, and they told me, like, like, when can you get here? So I drive across Canada with my family, like my mom, my stepdad. And the reason why I didn't fly, like, is because I had a bag full of steroids, and I'm like, there's no way I'm getting on the fucking plane with this bag. Like, probably gonna get arrested. So anyway, like, we're driving across Canada, like, we're having a good time. We're sleeping in the car, like, we're having family fights and all kinds of bullshit. And I was getting pretty nervous. So I just remember my mom and I were rolling up, and we get to Edmonton, and all I hear her, she's like, "Oh my, oh my." And I'm kind of looking around, and I'm like, is this the city? Like, we're at this like big tower. There's like, I'm looking for the new job. I kind of wanted to go see what's going on. So I'm just walking around like this police station, and I go up and I see this dude outside, and he's like smoking a dart, and he's in like a police uniform. Like, this has got to be the spot. So I go up and I'm like, "Hey man, I'm Joe. I just applied here. Like, I'm assuming you work here. Like, am I at the right spot?" And this guy's like, "Yeah, man, you are." And he's very nice and very inviting. And I was like, "Oh wow, people are so friendly here. This is pretty cool. This would be a good job." So anyway, I wait, and then I show up to my orientation, and I kind of made an ass of myself because it says like business, and I didn't have any business clothes. So I roll up in skateboard shoes, like a tie and a shirt and a pair of shorts. So I almost get fired like within my first day because I also fell asleep at the table. I'm not making a good name for myself, and I'm actually very lucky, I guess, to still have the job today because I didn't really show the best of myself. And for the past 13 years, I've been actually in this career. I've moved up, and I've done pretty well for myself. I'm pretty proud of myself, but just the hardships I went through to get to where I am today, like, I just can't tell everyone enough, like, how much work I had to put in to be the man I am today. I went from having like serious relationships issues that caused me mental health issues and just abusing my body. What it took to stop doing what I was doing, like having to really look hard in the mirror. Of course, when you're looking good, you're seeing in what you want, really. But you might look good on the outside, but you're actually rotten on the inside. Like, my brain was just in turmoil. Um, just devastating, actually, like looking back and thinking about what I did to myself and my family and the abuse. Yeah, man, it's just like, it's some of the stories are funny, like, but it's also like not funny. Like, it's funny on the outside to other people, but when you're just humiliating yourself, you're breaking stuff, you're like smashing stuff down, you're getting drunk and like just like yeah, just like pissing your pants. And um I don't know, it's looking back, it's like, I had to go through those things to get to where I am today. But if I can give anyone some insight and they can kind of hear my story and get to being successful, it's so possible. And some of the guests I'm going to have on have even like wilder stories than mine. Like, some of these guys, like, like a friend of mine from my gym that will be coming on, he has a really cool story to tell, and I can't wait for him to share that with you guys, because like, yeah, I'm genuinely interested to hear more, because like he's kind of given me clips over the years. But like, I'm excited for you to hear and give us all the building blocks too, because like there might be some people watching who are going through stuff right now. So going back to that, so I land down in Edmonton, and I'm really excited. So I met this friend, and he's like, "Hey, you're not from here. How about I pick you up and we drive around, and I'll show you all the different institutions that are kind of similar to what we're be doing." So I'm like, "Ah, okay, man." So we go for this drive, we're cruising around, and I come back to my house, and I notice, damn, the back door's kicked down. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, what is this? So I go in, and I all my stuff's gone. My air mattress that I was sleeping on, the floor was popped, and somebody took the food out of my fridge. My clothes were all over. My laptop was gone. And like, like, that was my source of entertainment. And so anyway, I end up calling the police. They come in, and the fellas say whoever stole it from me actually left me one beer in the fridge, which was, like, hey, that's pretty nice of you. Like, thanks, man. You didn't take all the beer. The cops come, we do an investigation. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now, man, you're never gonna find any of this stuff. Like, good luck. I have like 100 calls like this a day. And I'm like, oh, and just a little background where I was living was kind of near the football stadium. If you're not familiar with Edmonton, it's a pretty rough area. It's like not like some people might have some wonderful homes there or whatever, but not exactly like a nice area to be living in. And I didn't know the city, so I was kind of willing to live anywhere. So after some short time, my longtime girlfriend, she comes finally because she had the same job as me. And then we just kept noticing like the landlord was like kind of a weirdo. Uh, he liked to come down and rearrange my furniture. And I was like, hey, man, you need to be giving me notice for you come down here. And then this guy, I knock on his door to talk to him. He comes down the stairs and he's in this house robe with like nothing underneath. And he's doing the Captain Morgan on the stairs talking to me, like his junk's hanging out. And I'm like trying to explain to him like landlord, tenant, like decency. I'm like, hey man, you can't just be coming into my space doing whatever you did. Like you moved all my stuff. So anyway, I end up getting out of there. We find another spot. I rent this house. Life's going good. We actually relocated where we were working to a new location, and it was like hectic, and hey, it was a quite an interesting move. Um, so that all gets set up at the new jail I went from the old jail, which it was pretty like compact. And personally, I like that setting a little better than the big laid out space because you don't really know as many people now. But it was, anyway, for the better, I guess. Like that building was condemned and full of mold or whatever. So we moved out of there. We all get set up, we do the training, and then like life just starts going downhill from there. This individual I was seeing, like, her family was suffering. Her mom ends up moving in with us, and like things just keep getting more weird from there. I noticed she ended up disappearing for like complete weekends on end. No answer on the phone. I'm second guessing myself. I'm thinking maybe it's me. And then long story short, I find out that she's been seeing multiple different partners, and it just devastated me. I thought this was going to be like my future wife. I was ready to like settle down, and it just was heartbreaking. And we ended up having like a pretty nasty breakup um, from there. And then at this point, I hadn't really been introduced to like that, like alcohol yet. So I ended up meeting like this supermodel girl at my work, and like the people who know like she was like a very attractive person, very like everyone wanted to be with this person. Like I thought, hey, I just hit the jackpot. Like, oh my God, I win the lottery. Like, I go from like having this terrible relationship to jumping right into this next one. And then spending more time with this individual, I noticed like I really started drinking a lot. Like there was too much drinking, and we dated for about 6 months, and finally we had an argument one day. And this is actually an interesting night because it was one of the first nights I went to her house, and I'm thinking like, wow, this girl's really, really put together. She has this house. She like, wow, we're driving out in the middle of like, no, I don't even know where I am at the point. We're driving to like some farm town, and like, we're both intoxicated. I can't believe that she's actually operating a vehicle. It was pretty frightening. She's doing like 160 kilometers an hour down the road. I'm holding on for dear life, but I'm like, hey man, like I'm like, look at me, like I'm gonna go either way because like this chick's like amazing. We get to her house, and then we spend the night together for quite some time, and all suddenly, like I hear some noises like from outside, and someone's like kind of like trying to open the bedroom door, and I'm like, yo, like what the heck? And then all of a sudden the door just flies open. It's like this older lady just like screaming at this girl, and I'm like, what the heck? And I'm literally like naked. And I'm like, and she's like, you guys kept me up all night. Like, what the hell? And they're like having a full out like argument in front of me. And I'm like, oh my God. I find out. I'm like, this is like the girl's mom. And I'm standing there like butt naked. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, what? I'm trying to like conceal myself. And then she tries to shake my hand. So I'm like moving my hands from like covering myself. I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. Like, oh my God, this is like, hope this is how I meet my future mother-in-law here. Like, this is insane. Um, so anyway, long story short, I try to like go out in the morning and like we're having like our morning casual coffee. I'm like, hey, like, how are you? Nice to meet you. And then we end up separating from this individual. Like it was too much. And I just noticed that I started forming the habit of drinking a lot. And like at this point, like I used to work out like sometimes twice a day. And like then it seemed that I was only working out like 3, 4 times a week. And like that was a big thing for me. It actually made like that was my mental health savior is the gym. And so I move on from there. I end up going through a couple of years of after that point of just like I was drinking, like hanging out with friends that were drinking, always looking for a way to party. Like we're going to the bars. Like I was like in a wreck. I was wasting my whole paycheck just going out for like we have 3 days off in my job. So like the first night off, like I go out, like we're out all day for sometimes for 2 nights straight. And then I have no money. I'm constantly like I'm not eating like no groceries. Sometimes like having to like call my mom and be like, oh hey, I don't have any money. Could you like send me like $100 just to get by so I get some food? And just thinking back to that, I'm like, man, like what an embarrassment you were, man. Like you're making $100,000 a year. And now you're like, wow, like what are you doing? Do you like, what is happening here? You should be ashamed of yourself. And then, so this goes on for a few years. And then at one point, um, I've already touched base on, I had like an induced, some kind of psychosis happen one night where, I had met up with the first girl that I had moved here with, and we ended up going to this big event at West Edmonton Mall. It's a party in the pool. Like you're there with like your swim shorts on. It's called Soundwave. So I'm at this party and like I feel like I was kind of sabotaged that night by some people I thought were my friends. And so long story short, I spend the night partying with these people. Then at the end of the night, all these guys that I went with were, joking around, hitting on this girl that I moved here with who I was like madly in love with. And I start like shoving people, trying to fight guys. I'm like threatening to like kill people. It was insane, man. Like I can't believe I got myself to that point. And then that evening I had an attempt to suicide on myself. And it's just like, man, like I just didn't realize at the time. I'm like, I have so much more to live for than that. Like I let myself just like crumble under for no reason. Like looking back, like it meant so much to me. But why did I do that? Like, I didn't even love myself. Like, I was just treating myself like a piece of trash. And I just like, it's hard to share that sometimes and talk about that with other people just because like it's embarrassing. It's many things. Like even thinking back to that night, like sometimes like brings me anxiety. So I had some really good friends looking out for me that evening. Like I almost got arrested by the police, in the mall just because of like what I was saying and I was freaking out. I was like pretty big back then. I was probably intimidating. I was like pushing almost 240 pounds, like juice to the max, like mixing steroids and alcohol and partying. Just not a good mix. So these good friends finally show up. They literally saved my life that evening after this like attempt. Like what had happened was on the way home, I tried to jump out of a moving vehicle on the highway. And like, I don't know if like if you're going down the highway and you jump out of the back of a car and it's going 120 kilometers an hour, you're probably not going to live when you might get run over by the cars behind you. And this roommate of mine, who was actually became a good friend of mine during this time period when I was suffering, he literally like grabbed onto me and started like hitting me and like held on to me. He like wouldn't let me move. He was a trained martial artist. He had a couple pro fights at this time. And just having him, like, thank God, I think God put him in my life for a reason. I thank God, like he was in my life because without him, I probably wouldn't be here today to even talk about this stuff with everybody. So we get home. I spend like the next day I'm hungover, like I feel like a loser. I'm like replaying in my head the evening. I'm pretty depressed still because it doesn't just go away. And he comes into my room and he sits down on the edge of my bed and he said to me, you know, like that was super disappointing. Like he told me like his side of things. And then he pointed out, he looked over and I had like a duffel bag full of like paraphernalia for like anabolics. And he's like, you know, you should probably stop doing that stuff. It looks like it doesn't help your life very much. And why are you even doing that? And he's like, how old are you? I think I was like 23 or 24 at the time. He's like, you don't need that stuff, man. Like you're, and like at this point I had a really bad, horrific back injury I was dealing with, which I kind of forgot to tell everyone about, but I had herniated a disc in my back. So at this point I can barely work out anyway. So here I am using these substances for basically no reason. So anyway, I make the hard choice and I stop using anabolics. So I go through like a couple months of like complete bullshit. Like you'd just be like sitting in your room and like start crying for no reason. You know, dealing with like erectile dysfunction and like all kinds of sorts of things that come with low testosterone. So I go to the doctor after like, you know, a little bit and I'm like, hey, what's going on here? And he's like, you have very low testosterone, my friend. It's like at the levels of like a schoolgirl, basically. So I end up getting, you know, get myself sorted out, balanced out. I start bouncing back. Things go back to normal. No more problems. And I end up finally facing one of the hardest battles in my life, which was financial difficulty. And like, oh man, that was the worst black cloud I've ever had above my head. So when I moved here, I'm a truck guy. I always wanted a diesel truck. I buy this diesel truck. It's like, wow, like mission complete. I had the girl at the time. I had the truck. I had the body. I'm like, man, I got everything, man. Like nothing can take this from me. But I found out like, if you don't pay loans to the bank, they can take a lot of stuff away from you. And I end up owing. So I had a $60,000 truck. I had two $20,000 credit cards just maxed out from these nights of partying and drinking. And boy, oh boy, it was not a good feeling. So I made a plan and I faced the music. What I did, I wrote everything down. Like I owe all this money. I owe all these collections agencies. Like what can I do? I call a credit counselor. I get the credit counseling going. They consolidate for me. And I recommend anyone going through any sort of money problems, do not pretend it doesn't exist like I did. I thought ignoring collections agencies was like a good idea. It is not. Do not do that. It's not going to get you anywhere. So the consolidation, they get everything into one loan for me, and it's a really good idea. So I get to see the full figure. They negotiate for you to lower like payments, and they actually get rid of some completely or cut it right in half. So I get a total bill, $120,000 Canadian. For some people, it might not seem like a lot of money when you're broke and like living off crackers and tuna. You're like, hey, like that's a lot of money. And yeah, so I end up getting all this settled and I'm making these payments, getting everything going. And then I discover something sort of like bodybuilding, and it's called Jiu-Jitsu and martial arts. A friend of mine at work had recommended I try something. I decided I'm going to give this a go. I joined this gym, UFC gym, and I'm telling you, like, I literally get addicted to this. Like, I guess I have like an addictive personality, but like, man, I love this martial arts. So I start surrounding myself with all these positive people. I'm like MMA champions, like guys that were like K1 kickboxers, like, light heavyweight champions of like fighting promotions here in the city, like Unified. And I'm like, man, how can I be like these people? So I start wanting to go every day. I'm training 4 or 5 times a week. I'm paying for extra training. And then I'm finally able to like find something that's so positive in my life. I get all the training. I love this stuff. And then the gym shuts down. I'm faced with more injuries like continuously. Um, it's just those more obstacles come, but like even to this day, I'm still able to continue. Now I'm doing jujitsu at a Carlson Gracie Frontline, which is a sweet gym. If you're ever looking to go train, you should hit up this gym. It's owned by a great Brazilian man, Pedro. Uh, Very cool people. I've met lots of lifetime friends there. It's fantastic. These guys I tell them they saved my life. After all this credit stuff sorted out, I end up meeting my wife, who's a wonderful woman. She's very healthy for me. She's positive. We have a child now. And literally, just everything in my life has been so much better. Uh, the last knock of things I've had recently is like I stopped smoking marijuana and like I really loved it. It really helped me through a hard time with injuries. But you know, I know it's for me because of how I am, it's time to stop and I want to be a good role model. And the reason like I want to have all these conversations and kind of give you the background story about who I am, just so everyone can kind of see that I'm a real person. I have real stories. I had things happen to me. I'm not a robot. It's hard for people to share. And if I open up, maybe more people are willing to open up and share their stories with me. I want to help everyone get to a point in their life where you can be confident in yourself and care about yourself. Something I didn't have for a long time, like this bad self-talk and this negativity. Even like we all go through our things, like these recent injuries I've had with my knee surgery, like not being able to train. It's hard on me. It was hard on me. It's something you feel like is taken away from you. But like, I really can't wait to get more into these conversations, these deep conversations, learning more about other people. Um, I don't care if the person's like a banker, surgeon, black belt, karate man, like a fighter, whatever it is. I just want to give everyone a little intro, little sneak peek into who I am. And like the upcoming guest I have in store for you, he has a very exciting story. It's actually even more interesting than even like what I went through. And I'm really excited to share this with everybody. I do this because I have passion about this. Like I've always wanted to be a speaker, a public speaker. I think podcasting is one of the coolest things that we have. Um, if you want to get to know me a little bit more and want to do some questions Q and A's, your comment below on the comments, and I'll get back to you. You can talk about anything. If you want to crack jokes at me or whatever, if you want to learn or if you want to actually have some serious questions, anything is welcome. I'm open to any publicity is good publicity. You can subscribe and be more than welcome. I'd love to have you. Like the video, share with friends. You want to listen in. You don't, shut it off. It's going to be a great time. I can't wait to introduce myself further to all you and for y'all to hear about my content. I look forward to it and look forward to seeing you all in episode 2. Take care. Signing out.